Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to my second effort at building in Fallout 76. So, as you can see already, this has gone considerably better than the last one did. I'm getting the feel of the building system a lot more now, getting the hang of it, finding my way around the menus a bit better, and it's significantly improving on both what I can do and how I feel about doing it, I suppose, is what I'm looking to say there. So this build was intentionally relatively simple compared to the last one. The idea being to make something that was going to allow me to get past some of the initial challenges and come up with something reasonably solid and good without getting too frustrated. And then we've got a sort of a jumping off point for the next few builds, which as a plan has gone reasonably well. So we're going to slap the floor down now. Obviously, everything needs to use foundations as its start point, so that's what we're doing. Where we had issues with building a second floor last time, I've decided not to actually do that this time. We're going to build separate rooms instead of separate floors, for now. We'll come back to that one later. And we're going to try something a little bit different as well. So, we'll get these walls on. So you can see already things are going up much more easily. Slight mole right interruption there. That's more down to the location I'm in rather than anything else. This camp's actually literally about 50 yards up the riverbank from the last one. Still just across from the Slaker's Joe over there. I have since moved it as it happens, but I had a slight issue with some very helpful individual just casually dumped their camp right in the middle of the road, just on the other side of the river there. Clearly needed to get rid of some junk. The upshot of which being was, when I logged into the same server, mine was all stored because it overlapped, and when I changed servers, it remained stored, so. However, I am quite happy with what we've got here. It's simple but effective. You can see we just snap the roof straight on, it's going on nice and easy. A little bit of head scratching to figure out how to get around the corner here. You can see that first effort didn't go according to plan. So the main part now has a roof, and the bedroom currently does not, so we'll sort that in just a moment. Bedrooms are something I have mixed feelings on regarding building in this game at the moment. I feel like the place is not complete if you don't put one in, but at the same time, sleeping is, I mean, it'll heal you over time, but it's not necessary, so definitely mixed feelings. So my original idea with this was to put a sort of patio kind of balcony type deal up here that you access via that staircase, but it didn't work out the way I wanted, so. And at this point, as you can see, somebody was wanted just up the road from me, so slight detour there as I went and hunted him down, which was very, very entertaining, quite fun. Didn't go entirely according to plan the first time, much like trying to get the staircase on. As you can see, obviously it's not snapping through the ground there, and the foundation at the front here is a little too high up to connect the stairs to. So we'll put a little, I'm going to say balcony for want of a better word, out front here. Just snap this straight on. These railings are under the defences tab, as you can see at the top there. Which is a little strange considering they only snap to, as far as I know, they only snap to foundations or upper floors. They're not snapping here, which is why I didn't put the balcony on. Because, I think, anyway, because of the walls underneath. That's what's getting in the way. Take a quick look at some of the decorating as well. As you can see, the structure's gone together already, nice and easy. Problem I'm having there is not that the bed won't go in. It's so close to my feet that I can't see the end of the object I'm placing. So that's stopping me putting it where I want it. So. Useful thing to bear in mind, particularly when you're furnishing places. With the change in the editing system, I've often found putting stuff down is easier if you just slap it down anywhere and then move it after you've built it. Just a little... It just makes it go a little more smoothly for some reason. I don't really know why, but it does. So these water purifiers, you unlock pretty early in the main story. And I believe you're actually able to lock them to stop people just helping themselves to the water it produces. But it's not something I've noticed yet, so I'll have to look into that. They do require an awful lot of energy, though. It's 8 power. So we have to put a couple of generators down. no wire glitch for this, unfortunately. That is gone, sadly. But, given where it is, this is not a problem. If you don't lock these things, as I say, I haven't figured out how to yet, but there we go. Anybody can just come along and help themselves to the resources they generate, so it's something to bear in mind when you're placing them. A little demonstration, you can move the camp unit, I suppose, anytime you like after you've initially placed it. Which is the same as any other object, which is handy. Only limited decoration items at this stage, so we're just putting a little bit of furniture down to make the place feel vaguely homey. I've actually spent most of today running around unlocking a few workshops, doing a few other bits and pieces like that, just to get a few extra plans. From what I gather, the first time you unlock a public workshop, or first time you claim one rather, you get a few defensive items, turrets and that sort of thing. Not quite sure why we get guard posts, it doesn't make a right lot of sense to me, so we just don't have settlers to man them. But there we go. But you get those the first time you unlock a public workshop as well, so well worth doing. And each time you unlock one and successfully defend it after that, you get a random plan as a reward as well, so I've been running around doing that. So I've got a few more things to build with now, not a great deal, but baby steps. One thing I have noticed, any container in the game that you build at the moment, you know, the metal shelves with drawers, stuff like that, ammo boxes, grenade boxes, that sort of thing, they all function as stash boxes now, so they're under that stash box tab. And it's worth bearing in mind because it's the only storage you have available to you. Bethesda have said that they will be looking into increasing the size of that, but it sounds like there's a technical reason for having the limit there, so they'll have to figure out how to get around that first, I think. Hopefully a bit more storage space is coming, but it's something worth bearing in mind, because once you hit that 400 limit, it's kind of frustrating. But, on the other hand, if you're building regularly and not too attached to some of your junk, then it's not too much of a problem, you can get around it. It's the power armor that's causing the big issue at the minute. I'm still under level 25, so I can't do much about the weight of it. With the doors, you know, so I just did a little pirouette there and put the door on from the other side. Essentially, they're a lot more forgiving about how they'll snap on than they used to be in Fallout 4, so you can much more easily choose which way you want the door to open, which is a nice little feature. I'm happy about that one. At this current juncture, this is beta footage by the way, that particular light doesn't have a conduit providing power to it, and neither does this one. Generators just sat there outside, but they're not actually connected to the house. There we go, that's the main house finished. Have a quick look at that. Since the game has gone into full release, they have actually patched that, so you now have to put conduits on the walls or the ceiling or whatever, same as you did in Fallout 4, in order for the lights to work. Which I'm not particularly surprised by, but it's good to know. So for this last little bit, this is the bit that basically caused the problem with somebody dropping their camp just across the river there. I'm going to put a little bridge in, so I don't have to get irradiated every time I come in and out. And clearly it made this place look reasonably welcoming, because every time I came back, somebody had left my front door open, much to my irritation. Come on people, close the door behind you. It was obviously the fact that there's a nice little bridge to run straight across made it a very inviting prospect to come and have a nosy round. Not that I mind. As long as you keep everything in your stash, nobody can steal anything, so use the workbenches to their heart's content. It's just the water purifier and the a couple of blackberries that I put down. Blackberries? Yeah. That kept getting destroyed. Well, the blackberries got destroyed, the water purifier people kept helping themselves to, so I will be looking into that very, very soon regarding locking it. One problem I did have with building this bridge, and I fiddled with it for quite a while to get the right height and stuff, was that, as you can see there, I'm having a hard time getting the steps to snap on. In fact, I don't manage it at all. Here, I think it's partly because of that rock, and partly because I'm building on the water. The foundations are reasonably cooperative, as long as you start from a place they're willing to snap anyway. But those steps just weren't going to play ball. I also had a bit of a hard time getting railings onto the left-hand edge here. Mostly because, again, it kept trying to tell me that I was building in water. And it doesn't like that, apparently. Mostly for decoration, but we've got a guard posted now. we'll have a look around the more or less finished project. I did put a couple of extra bits and pieces in after this point. You'll, well, yeah, you can see them on stream, and you'll see the upgrades to that at the new camp as well. Goes there on the right. Problem with placing your turrets on the ground like that is enemies that use melee attacks will run right up and bash them, and they will not last very long, particularly the level 1s like those are. But something to bear in mind. A little either put some traps down to keep the distance, which is no respawns recommended this evening, or get them up off the ground. Problem is, if you've got a staircase running up to them, then mole rats or whatever can just run straight up the staircase, so you need to find some way of blocking them off. Traps are a good way of doing that. I've actually slapped a couple of bookcases over the top of the stairs to block them getting to them, so they have to smash their way through the bookcase first, which seems to be working. Nice simple little camp, reasonably homey, not too difficult to move as it turns out. Have a quick look around the inside. I've added a few more bits and pieces. My next build is going to be much simpler again. The idea is going to be to create something that's dead simple, secure, and easily movable. So we're going to have a look into that. I'll probably have a look at building one of those tonight, I think. And then we'll move on to, hopefully, something that's going to be a little more creative after that. The crafting room here is a little bit Spartan at the moment. I ran out of materials. I needed aluminium to make the workbenches. Unfortunately, I ran out after that armour one, so those had to come later. There we go. Well, this is a bit rubbish, but we have reasonably simple, not too much of an eyesore, nice little cabin, which has served well as a jumping off point. Although the location does get attacked quite a lot, which is slightly unfortunate. But there we go. So I do hope you enjoyed that, ladies and gents. If you did, do hit those buttons for me. As always, you'll find social media links down below. For now, thank you very much for watching, and I will be speaking to you all very, very soon.